Alright, so my channel started off kind of as a travel channel, but I'm going to mix in some travel content with some health content and maybe even some financial content as well. I have another channel, it's called Trader's Paradigm. So if you're interested in the investing world, you can go over and check that out. I do a lot of videos on technical analysis and that sort of stuff. But today, the video is going to be on taking supplements and my experience taking supplements on an empty stomach or with food. And I think this is a very underestimated issue that goes on with a lot of people, and they don't really know what's going on. They think that they're taking all the right vitamins and they're doing all the right things, but they still have some issues. And this kind of ties in with, if you've ever heard of trophology, which is the food combining, basically. I think that supplement combining can also cause problems in your body, and I've experienced it firsthand. One of the biggest ones, I think, are calcium supplements. Well, calcium and magnesium supplements are the two ones that come to mind the most. The reason I say that is if you're taking those with food, let's say you eat breakfast and you take your supplements right after you eat, you are alkalizing your stomach, and your stomach needs an acidic environment to digest the food that you're eating. And so it's definitely one of the things I've learned from experience. I had some issues, like minor issues, some kind of allergies, that kind of stuff. And after I started being more conscious of this kind of stuff, then those kind of went away. But I know for a fact that magnesium and calcium are really bad to be taken with food. They completely hinder the digestion, and they just make it really tough to actually get the right acidic environment you need. I was trying magnesium bicarbonate, and if you're familiar with magnesium bicarbonate, it's very alkalizing. And for a while, I was taking that pretty much right after I ate. And then I read some stuff online, and it was saying it's really bad for your stomach if you do it right after your food. You literally have to wait. You should be waiting at least 2 to 3 hours after you eat and doing it on an empty stomach. And ideally, you should be separating your supplements as well. And this article, just kind of a random article I found, has some pretty good suggestions on this. Not the fish oil stuff. I'm not a big fan of fish oil. If you're going to take fish oil, then I would recommend cod liver oil from Rosita's. They have some raw cod liver oil with vitamins A and D. Vitamin E is good if you get the right source. We're not going to go over that, but there is a part. Here's another one right here. Calcium and iron. Calcium blocks iron, and I see a lot of people talking about iron is bad for you, but iron is not necessarily bad for you. Yeah, you might have some excess iron in your tissues, but you still need iron for your blood and for different functions within your body. So if you're taking calcium right after you eat eggs, or you're taking calcium right after you have a hamburger, or anything that has lots of iron in it, you're blocking the uptake of that. And another big one is coffee too. I could go on, but coffee, I used to drink coffee right after I eat 8 meals because supposedly it was good for your liver right after meals. And there's research saying it is, but from my experience, it made it hard to digest the food. And I think that maybe I had a iron deficiency, which I confirmed on a hair test from eating too much or drinking too much coffee after eating a meal. So I think that's another big one. You want to, if you're eating hamburger or you're eating eggs, first of all, you should be eating the meat by itself. You don't want to be mixing eggs or hamburgers with like any type of grains, any kind of potatoes. The only thing you'd want to mix those with are maybe some cooked vegetables, and that's pretty much it. because anything else combined with a meat is going to make it hard to digest. But on top of that, let's say you're eating a grain and you're eating eggs, or you're eating a grain and a hamburger, you're eating a hamburger bun, and then after that you are drinking coffee as well. Not only are you messing up the trophology of eating the protein, you're also going to make it even worse by drinking the coffee right afterwards. So you're blocking the iron uptake. So I think this is very true right here. I think that iron can get stuck in your tissues as well, and most people probably do have excess iron. But when you're eating food, it's not the way to just block all the bioavailable iron that you're getting in your diet. So definitely don't supplement calcium or magnesium right after you eat an iron food. And typically, if you're eating an iron food, wait a couple hours before you do anything else, any other kind of food. This is one that don't take vitamins on an empty stomach. It depends. Let's see what they say here. They're saying fat-soluble vitamins are very good on an empty or with food, and I agree with that 100%. I think that's definitely right. So if you're taking cod liver oil for A and D, you take that right before you eat some food. Vitamin E and vitamin K, make sure you're taking that with some fat so you can absorb it better. But you get down here to the water-soluble vitamins, you need to be taking those on an empty stomach. And ideally, I think most of the mineral supplements too. So like copper, zinc, manganese, selenium, any of those, I would recommend taking those on an empty stomach. So only take the fat-soluble vitamins with food, and the other vitamins have to be on an empty stomach. And make sure that you're not taking calcium and magnesium or any of those minerals for that right after you eat. Give yourself some time to clear that food and you let your body digest those nutrients, and then take the supplements. Otherwise, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what you're actually absorbing. You think you're getting iron, but you're not actually getting it because you're taking the calcium and magnesium. So make sure you do that. What else do they talk about here? And I definitely agree with this as well. Don't take supplements with tea or coffee. Another thing too, because again, coffee is going to mess up the digestion again. You need to take, like I was following this guy, and he was saying to drink coffee after you eat. It's better for your liver and to block iron. And at the time, I thought that iron toxicity was in your tissues is pretty bad, and I think it was a pretty good idea at the time. But just to see how my body responded, I think it's terrible advice. I think you should drink coffee only with certain combinations of food after they've settled, though. So a good combination would be, let's say, almond butter toast with bananas in the morning, and then you could have a coffee right after that. That's not too bad. But let's say you eat a hamburger and fries and then you drink coffee, just absolutely terrible for you. And then on top of that, people are doing hamburger, fries, and then they're taking their supplements with coffee after they eat the hamburger and fries. And so a lot of this stuff, you have to kind of experiment to figure out like exactly what the deal is and if like what's right. There's research that goes both ways. But I can tell you definitively that your body will function a lot better if you separate everything except for the fat-soluble vitamins. And I'll probably do another video on trophology and what I've seen from that, doing a little bit in my life. I try to do that. But this was more about supplements, and especially the calcium and the magnesium, because those are very alkalizing. What else can I say about this? Pretty much, yeah, just try to do them on empty stomach unless they're fat soluble. Magnesium bicarbonate, I would make sure that you're doing that. If you're going to do magnesium bicarbonate, I would make sure you're doing that maybe at night, or maybe right when you wake up. I would never do that during the day. Magnesium bicarbonate during the day is just too much for your digestion to go back and forth from, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. Because I used to make the mix in the morning, and then I would sip on it through the day. The problem is, you eat an acidic meal, and then you do the magnesium bicarbonate, and give me 1 second. You do the magnesium bicarbonate, and you're switching back to the alkaline stomach, and then you're going back to the acidic stomach when you eat again, and then you go back to the alkaline stomach, and it's just not good for you if you think about it. People don't realize how much your digestion is, how delicate your digestion is. So keep that at night, and then if you're supplementing actual magnesium pills, you can do that during the day, but I would make sure that it's, a couple hours after your meal on an empty stomach, and then wait to eat maybe an hour after that. So once you get this stuff down, it's pretty obvious. Like, I'm actually thinking about what I was doing about a year ago. I was literally doing what I was just talking about, eating hamburger and fries, taking calcium and magnesium with coffee afterwards, thinking that that was the right combination. And what happens is you get indigestion, gas, bloating. You might have some skin issues, you might have dry skin. And the worst one is allergies. Allergies are the worst. I think last December I had some really bad allergies from doing all this food combining and supplement combining in the wrong order. And so I can't stress this enough. People make a huge deal about what supplements to take, which is, you should make a big deal about that too. But they definitely ignore this part of supplementing. And I think that if you just ignore this part and just take the supplements, you're not going to see as much benefit as if you do it in the right order. Another thing to add to that is I find more benefits from just taking supplements once a day. Because if you're taking them 3 times a day, again, you're going to have a hard time with the stomach acid and alkaline environment. And you're going to likely mess that up during the day, and then you're taking them at night too. I think you take them 1 time during the day. Right now, I usually take them a couple hours after breakfast, right before I eat lunch, maybe an hour before lunch, and then I'm done for the rest of the day, except for I do a few magnesium pills at night. So just wanted to go over that. That's kind of bothers me because I go on the Ray Peat forum and all kinds of other places, and people are having all kinds of issues, and I've noticed a big difference between supplementing at the right time with the right supplements on an empty stomach, and I think it will really help you out if you start adopting this. Let's see if there's anything else they talk about in this article. And then another thing that I would just go ahead and add into this video, since it's making it kind of long, is I think calcium supplements are not very necessary. I've tried supplementing with calcium and vitamin D, and I actually had a supplement that's calcium, 200 milligrams, 120 magnesium, 500 micrograms of boron, and then there are, I think, not very much. I think like how many IUs of vitamin D? Very little vitamin D, we'll say. I don't really know exactly. I think the supplement name though is Paramin. If you want to look it up, I can put the link down below. Basically, that right there, because I've done hair tissue mineral analysis, and so I've seen the changes in my body, and I supplemented with that one for a couple years. What happens when you take calcium supplements with vitamin D is it tanks your potassium, 100%. And what I would see when I would take that pill every day, multiple times a day, because I was on a morning, lunch, dinner supplement plan right after I ate too. Like just horrible what I've just been talking about with the food combining and the supplement combining. But what I've seen on the mineral test, which I might even be able to put up here on the screen, is that after I took the vitamin D and calcium, my potassium would just spike to unimaginable levels. So it turned me into what is called as a fast oxidizer. And the only way to counteract that is to eat a ton of potassium. But that takes a lot of work throughout the day to just continually get potassium, potassium, potassium. So you're not losing that when you're supplementing the vitamin D and calcium pills. So that was a big issue with calcium and vitamin D. Tanks your potassium, and the symptoms of that are you start getting restless legs, you start becoming more impatient, dehydrated, fatigue. And actually, recently in the last couple months, I supplemented with those same pills just to see, because I was trying to get my calcium up, and the same symptoms happened again. I did it for like a couple of weeks, and I realized it was taking my magnesium and my potassium, because magnesium and potassium are pretty, they're together. They're basically one of them, like a lot of magnesium is going to help out your potassium status as well. So there's a lot of truth to that calcium and vitamin D are not the best thing to take. Maybe in certain situations, if you are really, really slow and you've been taking a ton of magnesium, you could take vitamin D and calcium for a short term, but I wouldn't recommend it for the average person. And there's other ways to get around that as well. So don't take calcium, in my opinion. I've tried calcium, I think it's calcium malate, calcium carbonate. I've tried the ancestral supplement, grass-fed living bone, which kind of made me feel a little weird, to be honest. I'm pretty in tune with my body. It made me feel a little weird. And what else? And I supplemented with the MCHA pure encapsulations as well. And all of those kind of made me feel a little bit weird. It's hard to say too, and these are just some random thoughts, but vitamin D and calcium together tend to make my potassium go down. So I get a potassium deficiency when I take that. When I take calcium by itself, I tend to get, I feel like I get like bone spurs, and I feel like I'm almost getting calcified. Not really that bad, but like I notice that maybe if I'm running, my knees hurt a little bit. And so I've just come to the conclusion you need to get your calcium all through your diet. And I think that supplementing calcium long term is just kind of like a losing formula. You should already have excess calcium in your tissues that needs to be released. And I just feel way better just taking magnesium only. But then that goes into magnesium, and that's another issue too, is how much magnesium do you take. I'm just going to go over magnesium real quick and then end this video, and then I'll make another video here soon. The problem with magnesium is then people get, okay, you don't take calcium supplements, then how much magnesium you take. So I went from calcium supplements to magnesium supplements, but when I started taking the magnesium supplements, I started going hardcore into the magnesium. I started going like 1,000 milligrams a day for a while, and I felt really good at first. Like I felt really relaxed, calm. But then after a while, if you do that for a while, then you start feeling like you're kind of drifting away. You're kind of like tired, don't want to do anything, no motivation, that kind of thing. So you really have to go back and forth on the pendulum and just like figure out what the right balance is. And for me, the right balance of magnesium every single day is between 360 to about 480 milligrams, and I weigh about 185 pounds. So I find that to be about the right dosage. I usually take about 240 in the morning, and then I'll take about 160 before I go to bed, something like that. That seems to be about the right amount where I'm relaxed, but I'm not too relaxed where I don't want to go do anything. So I'm going to leave it at that for this video. Just went over a bunch of different things, but in summary, cut out the calcium pills, cut out the vitamin D, take magnesium, but take the right amount. And when you're taking both calcium and magnesium, make sure that you take that away from your food and try only to take the fat soluble vitamins with your food and take the other ones away from your food, usually at least an hour or two after you eat, so your body has time to digest the actual nutrients in the food and not get interrupted. So just kind of a random video, but I'm going to start doing some health videos because I have a lot of experience with hair tissue mineral analysis, and I've been researching this stuff a lot. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions or anything like that, I can try to give you some advice based on my experience. And please like and subscribe for more videos on travel, health, and investments here in the future. All right, I'll see you in the next video.